Kandice, how are you?
I'm good, thank
Good to
you.
see you. Thanks for coming
Same.
in.
Thank you for having me.
You sure? You ready for this?
I'm sure.
Good. All right. What's going on?
Nothing much. Just happy to be here and chat with you. It's
Cool.
exciting.
Tell me about yourself. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Trinidad, but then my family moved to New York when I was 12 years old. And we lived in Brooklyn and then moved to Queens.
What part of Brooklyn?
The Bushwick area
Okay.
of Brooklyn. Yeah,
What years was that?
this one. What year?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. It was actually right around 9/11.
Okay.
Actually, when we moved here, it was like around that same time, and that whole thing was happened, and I was just like, what is this? Coming from another country and experiencing something like that.
How old were you then, if you don't mind me asking?
12. I would say I was around 12. So it was a scary time.
Of course. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you're still in
it
school.
was a huge transition. Yeah.
And then moved to Queens, you said?
And then we moved to Queens. And then my parents, I went to school.
Where'd you go? Yeah, I was going to say, where'd you go to school?
So I went to school to August Martin High School. My parents wasn't really familiar with the system and schools and ratings and how that worked. So they chose a school based on what was convenient at the time. So I went to August Martin and, I grew up in Jamaica, Queens. So
Where's
that
August Martin?
neighborhood. In Jamaica, Queens.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not Catholic. It's public school, or?
It's a public school.
Must have been tough.
It was tough. It was. I was probably one of the only kid that would even pay attention in the
Is that
classroom.
right? That's funny.
Yeah, but I love those
It was like me in my school.
experiences because I felt like it kind of made me who I am. So I love going through all of those different changes throughout my life. I think it kind of helped me become the woman I am today.
Sure.
know?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes,
And then did you go to college?
I did. So I went to LaGuardia College.
Okay.
And then I finished my degree at University of Phoenix, and I did business management.
Okay. That's the online course,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
How long did it take you?
I would say in like 2 years online to just finish up my degree.
LaGuardia, did you get an associate's? Or?
Yes, I
Okay.
got an associate's from there, and then I finished up online.
That's not 4
because
years, though. It's only 2 years, right?
LaGuardia is it's a 2 year.
Oh, so it's not like Baruch or John Jay where you could do a 2
I
or
don't
4?
believe so.
Okay.
I just know. So at the time, I had to support myself with school and work. So I worked and went to college at the same time. So and then I met my husband and I had my first daughter. So
Where'd you
I
meet
had
your husband in school?
No, we met when I was probably 20.
Okay.
So
Pretty cool.
I met him at a very young age. So I would say my life started
Young age.
Yeah, 20.
I
20
met my
is
wife
young.
at 18.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
17,
I feel like
18.
now it's different, right? People are like in their 30s and not
Yeah, I guess so.
married. I mean, it's a different time. So that I say 20 because people feel like that's so taboo.
32,
they're
I had my
getting-
first child, I think it was.
Yeah, I had my daughter when I was 25, my first.
Okay.
And everyone is like, well, that's when your life, you should be experienced in life. But every culture is different. For me, that was the norm. And now it's like, everyone is like, that's so taboo. Like, you're married and have a kid at 25. Like, that's insane.
Same thing as me. I was 25 when I got married.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 24, 25.
Nice.
I think it was.
Nice.
95. So I was 24.
Okay.
I was turning
Interesting.
25.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I'm with her since 88.
Oh, wow. I was born in 89.
So I've been with
I
my
wasn't
wife
even
longer than
born
you.
yet.
I'm with my wife longer than you're alive. That's
Yes.
hysterical.
How old's your oldest?
She's 22.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice.
then my son is 18.
Okay.
He graduates high school this year.
Oh, wow.
But okay, so you graduate college, go
Right.
on, and then what do you decide to do?
So,
Because you're in
Even
business
while-
management, right?
yeah, so even during college, I was in healthcare, and I've always wanted to be in healthcare. Like, my grandmother had cancer growing up, and I wanted to be in the field just to be able to help people. That was just always my thing. And so I was always in healthcare. I worked at Lutheran Hospital, then I worked for Northwell. I was there for a long time.
What did you do?
So I worked for the administrative team for
Okay.
Northwell in the emergency room. And then I was promoted to their leadership team. When I had my second daughter, things was a little bit challenging. We also had a construction company that required a lot of time
Okay.
because we was building up that company, from scratch. So
So you're working in
healthcare.
Yeah,
I've done
Northwell and then-
healthcare up until becoming a realtor. So I've always been in healthcare.
okay,
Even
but
in
you own
high
a construction
school.
company too.
And own a construction company.
Okay,
Yes.
is that what your husband does?
That's what my husband does. So we're both partners in our construction company. So a lot of time, effort, and energy had went into that.
What do you do with the construction company?
So we do renovations, like commercial and
Excuse me.
residential spaces. And we were heavy on residential, and then we got so busy with commercial, and things are going great in the commercial world that we've kind of just stuck with that. But then when I became a realtor, I'm like, and part of the reason for me becoming a realtor and wanting to help people, I felt like construction and real estate kind of complement each other. I thought it was a great idea at the time, you know?
At the time, you still don't think it is?
Yeah, you know what? The only difference is I thought becoming a realtor and having my own business meant that I can control my time better, but that's not the case.
No.
I work on my client's schedule a lot of the time. So it's like after work
The
hours.
biggest misconception in the
Yes,
business, yeah.
It really is.
You want to
They're like,
succeed. Yeah.
people are like, I'm starting my own business because I just want to have more time for myself.
That's
And
the
that's
stupidest
not,
thing I ever heard. I hate to say it that way,
yes.
but
In the corporate world, you get to clock out. You clock out, you shut everything out. You have family time, your personal time, and that's that. When you're running your own business, that's not necessarily the case,
when you clock out, you're still working.
Yes, like
When you're
I
running
go
your
to
own
bed
business. At least
thinking like, did I send this email? Did I follow up with this agent? you
Yep,
know,
of course.
it's like from time right before you close your eyes to when you wake up, it's work, work, work. But I love to create a balance. I do have two younger ones, so
How old are your children?
my oldest is 12 and my little one is 6 years old.
Okay, it's beautiful ages.
Yeah, they're like my little best friend.
Yep.
You know,
Scary, right?
it is scary. It's scary, and I think a lot of what I do and my commitment to my business is just because of my girls.
Of course.
I want to do better for them and be a great example for them. So.
You are doing that, which is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're pretty amazing. I was watching and looking to see. I was watching how you're acting and what you're doing. And
Oh, my
yeah,
social, yes.
yeah, it's,
And
it's pretty cool to see.
I'm so happy you said that because sometimes it's a fine line with your personal life and business, right? And then how much of that should you really be putting out there, But since my business is just based on building meaningful relationships, I feel like showcasing what I'm about, whether it's traveling, construction, family, things like that, it kind of lets people know a little bit of who you are.
So
And
who
in
are you? Like,
turn,
what are you?
And that's who I am. I'm first and foremost, I'm a mom.
That's number one.
That's number one.
And a damn good one, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I would like to think so.
And you are, yeah.
And second, and a wife also, and then a realtor, and real estate for a lot of people. I know sometimes it may seem like it's very transactional. It's a business, but for me, it's just way more than that. And if I could share a story, I would
Sure.
love to.
Please.
So when I started real estate, and part of the reason for me starting it
When
was,
did you start real estate?
like 5 years, like 2021.
Did you come right to Keller?
And I've came right to Keller.
Okay.
I've interviewed with 5 different brokerages, and the minute I stepped foot into KW Legendary, and I met with the team leader at the time and Linda Chen.
And Retromato
And yes, I was
Nobody
sold.
says me. It's like funniest thing.
Yeah, but I mean, you're so down to earth and cool. Who wouldn't want to be in a company where our leaders are so involved with what we do? And
Thank
who
you for
we
saying
are?
that. You're the
Yeah.
first person that ever said that to me.
Well, I'm glad. And I was blown away about with the culture, you know. They were inviting, they seemed very supportive. KW has a lot of tools and resources for its agents. And when I've interviewed with the other brokerages, they said nothing about how they were going to support you and help you in any way. And I'm like, well, that explains it because I've done real estate transaction, like personal ones, like purchase properties. And the experience I received was like, oh my God, I can't believe I work with this person,
Hmm.
you know? And it was so transactional. It was like you put an offer on a house and you close at the closing table and then that's it. That's just what it felt like.
Yeah.
You know, I had no connection, no relationship with my realtor.
When did you buy your first home?
I bought it
And I want to
at
hear your story. Don't
20.
forget about telling it.
Yes, I purchased my first property at 24,
Okay.
and I
At
purchased
24?
yes with my husband, and it was the best decision I've made. It was a sacrifice, as like everything is, and I'm so happy I've made that choice because I feel like now you see people you're chasing a lifestyle, right? And there's no real future for the future generation. There's not much, and it was important for us to create something for our future generation. You know, like my kids. So working hard,
Yeah, it's terrifying out there for
saving.
the kids today.
Yes,
People coming. When did you buy the vacation home?
it was right during COVID when you couldn't travel and you had nowhere to go, and we booked a place like upstate New York, and it was probably like $800 a night, and I was like, "Is this what you're making on short-term rentals? Like, why am I not doing this? You know, I could have my own property and produce the same amount of income.
Right.
You know, so it was kind of like a
How often is it
no-brainer.
rented up there?
So when we
Where is it?
purchased
If
it,
you don't
it's
mind
in
me.
the Poconos.
Okay. I had places there.
Yeah, and the Poconos is beautiful, and there's a lot to do out there, and it's so funny because I went there when I was like 19, and we stayed at a place, and I'm like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. It would be a dream of mine to own something like this,
Hmm.
you know, up in the mountains with a river, creek in the backyard. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
we had
some.
something in Camelback, I think it was, or right around Camelback.
I'm not far from there, like 20 minutes.
Okay.
And so there's a lot to do in that area. There's like the Bushkill Falls, there's the Delaware River. So there's a lot to do out there. And it was so surreal when I purchased my property. I was like, wow, like I remember dreaming about this. You know, maybe I manifested it,
Right.
but it happened, you know? But I also believe it's
Did you
like
buy a
hard
house or a
work and
townhouse or a condo?
it's a house. It's in a gated community.
Okay.
I just figured that made sense because we're not there all the time, so it's somewhat, you know,
Protected, yeah.
protected. And we love it. We go there all the time on weekends whenever we have free time just to escape New York, you know. So I currently do not rent it out, but I am looking at other properties in the area to do so. I kind of figured we'll keep that for our family, you know.
Makes sense.
And honestly, the rental property I have in Queens kind of pays for itself and pays for that.
Oh, good.
So I'm not really coming out of pocket
Okay.
for it, you know. So if anything, it was a good investment. But yeah, so my first is when I was 24, and when I sold it, I walked out with so much like cash that I would never have saved up from working a 9 to 5.
Right.
And I don't think people understand how valuable that is, you know, in building generational wealth.
Kind of funny you said that. We similar experience. But we would buy we bought our first home at 27. And we went from a rental. It was funny. My father-in-law, we didn't have money to purchase it. I was a cop. My wife was in marketing, I think, at the time. And, both just starting, really. And we ended up buying our first condo. Father-in-law gave us money to purchase it. And then bought that. 2 years later to the day, we flipped it because the tax laws changed. And we were,
Right.
you didn't get taxed on your capital gains, on your gains, anything, as long as you stayed 2 years.
Right.
Bought a house in Mayapack, had our daughter. We moved down to Queens. So we went from like Katona Mayapack or Somers Mayapack to Queens. But every time we sold our place, we doubled our
Your funds.
correct.
Whatever.
But it was interesting to
Equity,
double it.
yeah.
Like I said, I think the first house we paid $150, maybe $170, right around there for a beautiful townhouse, and it was gorgeous. Like you, gated
Yeah.
community, condo community. Sold that one for like $320.
Wow.
Bought the house in Katona Mayapack or whatever it was, Somers Mayapack, and beautiful estate. It was a guest house on it. Picked it up for 320 back in the day.
Mhm.
We ended up selling that for like 650, doubled
Wow.
our money. So we
Yeah.
took that extra 500,000. We went into Whitestone, Malba. We bought a house. We got a foreclosure in Malba at the right time. I just got into real estate. And Betsy, may she rest in peace, had this pre-foreclosure,
Mhm.
or it was a foreclosure through a hard money loan, and we were
Right.
able to pick it up at like 650,
Okay.
655, whatever it was. Um, Funny experience. I'm not going to tell you the story over the air because it was difficult.
Right.
We ended up buying it. It was an 8-hour, 9-hour closing. It was
Wow.
horrible.
Sounds fun.
Oh my God, it was brutal. We were living in a cottage on our property in Mayapack that we already sold, and we're like, "Oh my God, this thing's got to close. If it don't, we're so fucked. It's not even funny,
Yeah.
you know." And my daughter's a baby at the time, running around,
Oh
and
man.
it's horrible.
Very difficult.
So yeah, so we end up finally closing on the place. You want to hear like weird stuff too? My wife was at a place called Dora's Babies
Okay.
in the city, and it was a pretty like a high end baby furniture and stuff like that. That was a lady. She was there on Sunday. We bought the house on Monday, and then she was the owner. And
Oh.
it was a coincidence.
Oh, that's so funny.
So we almost double the profit on that when we sell that, and we're able to go up to where we live now and basically live, very comfortably
A
where we own the
minimal
house. Yeah,
mortgage, right?
we might even paid it off. I think we paid it off. So it's
Right.
we were able to take all of that money and put it into it, and then live comfortably. And like I said, we thought about upgrading. We're there for 20 years. The house makes sense. It's 3,000 whatever square foot, and not even and. Sits on the land, just high taxes, and I never wanted that big home because I wanted my kids close to me.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
it's similar to you, I guess. When you
Yes.
buy property and what you said, where you don't realize the equity you're putting
Yeah.
into it, and
It's
what
money
it
you
can do.
couldn't have worked for and saved for a lot of us. And real estate can do that for you, not only for you, for your family, because now your kids have something to inherit, you know?
You can't fall in love with your first home, though.
Yeah.
You
That's
gotta
and that's the
gotta be
thing.
business.
So I have clients and you have people that go out in the market and you think you're gonna purchase your dream home. And then you realize that it's probably not attainable right now. And part of in doing real estate and educating my clients, like just think this is not gonna be a forever home.
That's
You
right.
know? It's a home for you to like get your feet wet into real estate. You stay here for a few years, at least 2 years, so you prevent that capital gain
Right.
tax, right? And then over time, we're in New York, you're only going to build equity on that home. You sell it at that point, and then whatever funds you accumulate, now you have a larger down payment,
Right.
right? You can almost say you saved up
Yeah.
from the equity of the home, and then you can put it into your dream home. And that's kind of what happened with me. At 24, I can afford my dream home in the perfect location. So I purchased a home in Jamaica, Queens. You know,
That was your first or second?
that was my first home in
Okay.
Jamaica, Queens, and people might think, oh my, Jamaica, Queens, which I love. It's transitioning.
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
beautiful area.
my property doubled when I sold,
Mhm.
and its value, and the time I sold, and I was so happy I've made that decision because I purchased an area not many was moving into at the time. It wasn't considered ideal, and my daughter was, she was like a few months at that point. And I said, you know what? Well, this is not my forever home, but for my husband and I to continue to rent
It was
and
just
pay
silly.
someone else's mortgage,
Mhm.
it was silly. It was ridiculous. Why not put it into our own property? I would have never walked away.
So you had the construction company, so it was pretty easy for you, I'm assuming.
Exactly. It was a steal for me, and it's another thing. Believe it or not, as an agent, I did not go out and look for properties. Like I wasn't just like going out every weekend and searching to find the one. I seen this property based on the location and square footage and proximity, to what I needed it to be next to. I said to my husband, you know what, let's just go out. We got to make this move for our kids because it's easier for them.
Yeah, they
You
don't
know,
get the
it's
friends and all that.
it's probably easier when they're younger than to make the move when they're older, and
Mhm.
then kind of it's difficult.
True.
So it was that time, like 2 years ago, where the interest rates started to rise. Up and over
It started
fives,
creeping,
and buyers were kind of like holding back. And I was like, oh, this is perfect for me. I could just jump right in because I understand how the market works.
Right.
You know. So based on the location and then the square footage of the home, and I said, you know what, let's just go take a look at it. We took a look. It happened to be a KW agent. David Lau. I tell everyone the story. He was the listing agent, and I put in an offer. This house, if you've seen it, you had to gut it out.
Okay.
It's like the carpet, everything. There's walls up that the bathrooms are like yellow tubs, the pink tubs. It was very old school.
Nice.
It's so funny because when we ripped out the carpet, we realized there wasn't even flooring underneath there. So
Wow.
you had to even put flooring down. The basement was not finished. So it was a lot of work, but I understood the value that location held and
Was
what
it
it
Great Neck, New Hyde Park?
it was New Hyde Park. And at the time, I said, okay, I looked at how the market was, and I said, if I purchase for this price and I put in the work, I know it will be over 1.2
Nice.
million, So now, if I was to sell that home, I will not only make back the money that I've put into it, but I'll walk away with something also.
Home
And
run.
that's the goal. But you have to understand, and this is where being knowledgeable in real estate really benefits you, not just for myself, but for my clients. So when I speak location with my clients, I'm like, hey, you don't want to go purchase into an area that's already like prices are elevated. It's not going to do you anything good.
Yep.
But if you go into the surrounding areas that people are like kind of eventually starting to push out, you're going to build more equity on your property. It's going to be more beneficial to you. I think I'm able to accomplish my own real estate goals just from being knowledgeable, and that's kind of like what I like to do for my clients also.
So, talking earlier, when did you get your license?
Like 2020.
2020. Okay, and you said
Yeah.
you had a story for me.
Oh yes, so and this is why real estate is so personal for me. So, like I've mentioned, we moved here from Trinidad when I was 12 years old. So my parents, who basically gave up our life, our home, back in our country, and we were renting in New York, and everybody wants the American dream. You want to be able to have a decent job. You want to own a home. All of that good stuff. So my parents, when I became a realtor, and I said to my parents, I said, hey, this is what worked for me and how I purchased my property, and I want the same for you. At that time, my parents didn't fully own their own property, and I knew how important that would be. So if I'm here telling everyone else why they should purchase, why am I not doing it for my own family?
That's right.
My parents should be the first. And thankfully, they were the first, So my dad was, he kind of gave me some pushback. He's
Of
like,
course, yeah.
You get that, right? Because I'm his daughter. It's like, well, as much as I know what I'm doing, he's always like, well, I don't know if that's the best thing, if that's the best option. I said, I know a great lender. Just please have the conversation. At that time, they were staying in one of my uncle's property. And I said, listen, you have to get your own property. You
Sure.
really do. It makes zero sense you paying rental, and then you're getting older, you're sickly, things can
Are
happen.
you the only child? Or?
So I'm the oldest.
Okay.
So I had a lot of responsibility.
Yep.
So they got pre-approved, and I said, oh my God, this is amazing. And I tell all my clients who get pre-approved, I'm like, congratulations, you have no idea how difficult, because there's so much things that go into pre-approval. So you're actually getting pre-approved, that's a big deal.
Absolutely.
It's like the first step, it's like the most important step, and you've established that. So they got pre-approved, and then my uncle decided, at that point, then I stepped back from the transaction, because my uncle decided, you know what, well, I can sell the property you guys are staying into you. So my uncle decided that he was going to sell it to them, and
Oh, nice.
it's a multifamily home, 3 over 3, and that way they would be generating income. I said, that's perfect for you guys. So at that point, I've done my part. My uncle and my parents figured that out, but they were able to secure their first home.
That's sweet. That's awesome.
And for me, that was just such a big deal. It's so personal. It hits home for me because
That is a big deal. It's so cool you could do that.
now my parents own something. And 2 years ago, my mom was diagnosed with cancer,
I'm so sorry.
and she's doing well now. But it meant, and my dad also got sickly too. But they lost a lot of time from work. And if not for that house, and if not for the income that that property produced for them, they would have a hard time. And not only them, but as much as myself and my siblings can support, it's only so much you could support when you have your own family. So not only did my parents do something good for themselves, but for us,
Mhm.
because now they're able to kind of like support themselves when things went wrong, in terms of their health, that they had rental income, the mortgage was being paid, bills was being paid despite it. If you were renting, there's no way that would have happened,
That's right. That's a sweet
so
story.
it's a story that I like to share because this is what real estate can do for you. It's not just purchasing a house, it's a home. It's something you're doing for your kids. It's just way more than
Making dreams come true,
yes.
which is awesome. That's a pretty cool
Yes.
story.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and you know what? I've never really shared it publicly, and I'm like, I should share it because this is the
It's a
reason
great story.
why I do what I do.
That's a great story.
It's
And that was your first time ever?
it was
Or?
it was my first time ever just having a deal come together.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was my parents. And I was like, it was my mission becoming a realtor. I'm like, okay, now I know everything about real estate. I know what you have to do. I know what it takes. I'm like, this is gonna work out for you guys. And now, if my parents were to sell, and I was like, I can even take out equity and purchase another investment property. Like my dad is sickly, and my mom also. You don't need to continue to work so hard for long.
Wow.
You can just start investing in properties. It's a way to produce income.
That's right.
You
It's a
know?
business.
Yes.
That's
So
awesome.
it's
And
all,
you got the
it's a
equity.
it's a goal. Yeah. And now they've built equity on, in a couple of years, you can probably take out and purchase 2 investment properties.
Wow.
That's where they're at now with it.
That's
So
awesome. So now you started 5 years ago.
right.
What was your journey like in the real estate business in that 5 years? Now you went from real estate agent to where you're now sitting on the ALC?
Yes. So it's just that's pretty amazing. It's funny because when I came into KW and I met with the team leader, she's like, "You're gonna be a capper," and I laughed it off. I was like, "No way."
Who was your TL at the time?
It was Lisa.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome people. Yeah.
And I met Will and Linda and Jordan. I was part of that coaching program. So I said, no way. And I've capped every year
That's awesome.
up until now, which is like, I know I had the experience because I felt like being in healthcare helped me with my real estate career. I remember negotiating a deal with Susan Clark, my first deal ever negotiating, and she had about 50 offers at the time. I'm not exaggerating. It probably was more than that.
Okay.
And my offer got accepted, my first offer. I remember going to the inspection, and she's like, "How long have you been doing this?" And I laughed. I was like, a
Years.
years. Like over a year, She's like, "Wow, you're really good." But I felt like it was having that leadership experience in healthcare and communicating, being responsible for patient experience, employee satisfaction, and revenue in healthcare. I feel like that definitely helped me with a smooth transition to real estate.
Okay.
So she was like, "There's no way you've been,
Doing this a
doing
year.
this over a year." And then when she rejoined KW, I tell her the funny story. She dies laughing.
Does she remember it or not?
She remembers.
Oh, she does? That's so funny. And then, so now you're on the ALC.
Yes.
And what do you do for the ALC?
So I am head of the luxury chair for KW, and I love that because part of what I do is creating a high touch luxury experience for my clients, and being part of the ALC allows me to do so because there's so much tools and resources that I'm given just being on that chair that I'm able to create a better experience for my clients. So I love that, and also I get to be an example and help other agents who want to do the same.
How long did it take you to get on? Was it your first year on it?
It's my first year on it, and when Linda Chen and Carol at the time, when they came and asked me to be on the ALC, it was like a humbling experience. Just knowing from my background and where I've came from, being in real estate for like, you know, a little over 4 years.
You want to explain to everybody what the ALC is?
So the ALC is the Associate Leadership Council, the KW, and it's where agents are selected, I guess, based on your performance, how well you do. So you get to be a part of like the decision making and all of that, and be a resource to other agents in the office. And I love that about KW, right? It's always thinking about the agents, like how can we support them more? And this, I feel like that's how the ALC is created, building that culture of support, someone you can go to and help. So we're here to gather information and collect resources and tools. There's departments for like wealth and education. There's multiple different, departments, and it's just good to help other agents. Yeah.
What do you
That's
have?
what that is.
What do you have coming up?
So my last event, which I actually loved, we do have a lot
Which one was that?
on the agenda. So I had an event a couple weeks ago, and this one was important for me because when I started off, it was one
Hey,
thing.
favor, before you explain that one, go back to the one that. How many events do you do in a year? Let's start with that.
For clients or with the
Both.
luxury. So I haven't done many events. This is something that I actually want to start, and I feel like it's important. On holidays, I do stuff for my clients, like I drop off like baskets, things like that, reach out to my clients, but I haven't created an event where I can get everyone together, which that is one of my goals. I think that is so important.
Okay.
But this event, and what the ALC allowed me to do is have a space where I can teach other agents and invite other agents and how to just be better at what you do, how to create that luxury experience for your clients, how to show up as the best version of yourself, right?
Sure.
Because when I started, even though I had the experience and knowledge, right, one thing I was lacking was confidence. I think that held me back from my true potential, right? Because I didn't always believe in myself.
Which is odd because you're a great leader.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
You really are. You're a really good leader.
And I get that, and maybe that's what being a good leader is about, right? Like when I got promoted in healthcare, I was told you got the position not because you wanted to be a boss, but because you wanted to lead
Yeah.
and help others.
I can see that. Yeah.
And that stuck with me throughout. I'm like, that is so important because I know where I've come from, my humble beginnings, and I would only want to help people get there. It's like when you come out the fire, just make sure you go back in and help others, that sort of mindset. So the first event with KW, being on the luxury chair I created, is like how to really show up as the best version of yourself.
Okay.
So we had someone there about like your health and different things you can do to just take care of your body. Then we had like a makeup artist there. And we were also going to have like someone from a gym, like a personal trainer there. And it's not you changing who you are, but just becoming the best version of yourself, showing up as the best version of like you can. So it's being purposeful about it. Right?
Okay.
In real estate, it's what you make it. You have control over how you succeed and what you do with real estate. I think with any business overall.
How did you have the mindset coming into real estate that it was a business? Because most people, especially early on, they think it's a job. And it's not. You're running a business and you're running your own business. And a lot of people out there don't know that. What advice would you give to a new agent coming on, how to start, what to do,
So
how to
I have
approach it?
women especially, that approach me all the time, reach out to me, and they want to do real estate.
Mhm.
And fortunately, it's a beautiful thing that KW have the program where we can sponsor. We can sponsor people and they can obtain their real estate license. That's a beautiful thing with KW and that we're able to. But I tell them all the time that like I'll quit my job and start real estate because what we put out on social media, like you go to showings and you have these beautiful listings and I closed the deal, and it's all the pretty stuff, the glamorous stuff. On the back end, there's so much involved. From when you put an offer in and it got accepted, it's not over until it's over. Like.
That's right.
I mean, you have to go through appraisal. They have to pull title. You know what I mean? There's survey that has to be done. and countless things because there's so many moving parts, so many things can go wrong,
Hmm.
and people don't understand that. And as an agent, if you're not knowledgeable and if you don't know what you're doing, your deals are going to fall apart. If you can't educate your client on what's going on and why it's beneficial to do this, to do that, deals will fall apart. It's not going to work out. You really have to, even reading a contract. I'm not an attorney, but I should be able to understand a contract. Like, I review my contracts for
Right.
my clients, and there are multiple times I caught things on it that I had to call the attorney, like, hey, that's not what we
Shouldn't be
agreed
there.
upon, or things like that. So it's not just being a realtor. It's not just putting a buy and a seller together. And a lot of people have that idea, and that's just my advice would be, yes, obtain your license, experience it. And another thing, people who became agents, show up to the classes that KW offers. And all these like mega agents, you pick up so much gems that only makes it better for your client experience. Not just client, for even your experience with other agents. I feel like that's something people lack because you're so focused on building relationship with clients. It's equally as important to build relationship with other realtors and other professionals in the field. It just makes for a smoother transaction.
Especially now with all the changes that's constantly happening in the real estate business.
Yes, you have to. We have to work together as professionals in the real estate world.
We definitely do.
If not, so one advice for me, it's like, if you're gonna do real estate right. Learn all that you could, gain all the knowledge, understand your market, stats, everything, because and build trust. Care, make your clients feel heard, seen. That's just how I run my business.
Let me ask
So
you another question because I'm just curious about this. When did you get your confidence? Because
I'm
it was a
still.
big part of it. What you've been saying.
I'm glad you asked that question. Where'd you get your confidence? As if I have all this confidence right now.
That's awesome. You
That's
do. You
nice.
show it well.
So I throughout my life, even in high school, like even like I remember my math teacher just yelling because Candice, you can do it. Why are you limiting yourself? And when I was in college, I had one of my professor. You should go for engineering. I was like, engineering, like I'm not, mathematics and all that. It's not my thing. It's like, no, you're great, And I think whatever you put your mind to, you're committed.
Hmm.
And I said, you know what? I just need to start believing, like from where I've came from, coming, migrating here from Trinidad, and everything that I've accomplished so far. There's a reason for that. It's hard work. It's dedication. It's me being committed to what I believe in. And I said, this is who I am. This is me. And I really need to believe that, you know? I should see myself how others see me. This is who I am. And then that's how it really started. I'm like, I have the knowledge, I have the experience, I'm good. I make genuine connections with people. I care. I genuinely care. That's really what it is. And I said, I can do this. That's just how I started building my confidence, started believing in myself more.
Well, keep doing it. It's really shows you're really good at your job.
Oh,
I want to
thank
thank
you.
you for everything that you do in our world. You are amazing. I do know this about you. Every time you come into a room, you light it up.
Oh,
You really
nice.
are. You're an amazing person. Everybody, I'm amazed by it all the time. How everyone gravitates towards you. I think it's those cool hats that you
Oh,
wear.
that's
But
the one time Rich Amato. No, you see me in a hat
I see a
twice,
couple
and then
times I see you in hats. uh,
right.
but all joking aside, you know I'm really excited to watch you grow, and I'm glad you're doing so well, and uh, looking forward to the future to see what you do.
I appreciate it. No pressure at all, right?
Not at
Rich
all.
Amato has his eyes on me where I go with real estate.
It's a good thing. That's a really good thing because again, I think the world of you, and I really do think you can do this at a high level, and you are, and
Thank you so
you
much.
proved to everybody that you're right, that you are really good at this. And here's a woman that came from Trinidad, opened a construction company, was in healthcare, has two
Hmm.
children, got into the real estate, rock that and buying and selling homes. You're a rock
Sky's the
star.
limit, huh?
Sky's the limit because you believe in yourself. Keep it up. Thank you so much for jumping
Thank
on.
you so much,
Appreciate
Rich.
it.
I
Awesome
appreciate
job.
it.